Hello students, a very good evening to all of you. Welcome to my channel. This is a very important class on Know Your Text series part 17 and we have been discussing Amitabh Ghosh's Shadow Lines. Today is the second part and the last part of the video. But before starting, I want to give you a brief introduction about myself. My name is Brishti Mukherjee. I have qualified NTA UGC NET exam in English literature 4 times and have also qualified West Bengal SET examination. I have 2 years of teaching experience. Moreover, I have also taught in NPTEL online course from IIT Madras 3 times. So that is all about myself. Good evening, Vedvyasti. Good evening, Pooja. Welcome. This is the link of my Telegram channel. The link is also given in the description box. So those of you who have not joined yet, please join to get notification of all important classes. And also please don't forget to like, share and subscribe my YouTube channel so that many more new learners can join. Good evening, Elena. Good evening, Shudesh. Welcome. These are the timings of your classes Monday to Friday at 8:30 p.m. Saturday, Sunday off. So don't forget to join me live. Please subscribe the channel and press the bell icon to get notified. Okay. So in yesterday's class, we have started discussing shadow lines part 1. And as I have already told you, shadow lines was divided into 2 parts. First part is titled as Going Away and second part is titled as Coming Home. So we have already discussed the summary of the first part of the novel, that is Going Away. And in today's class, we will talk about the last part of the novel, that is Coming Home. तो चलो स्टार्ट करते हैं कमिंग होम का समय. Okay, so coming home, this particular paragraph starts with the character of Thamma. Thamma recalls her life as headmistress for 6 years. She worked as the headmistress of a school for 6 years and she is recalling her life. So in yesterday's class, we have also seen that shadow lines is basically based on uh, Shadow lines is basically based on nostalgia and recollection of past memories. तो वो यहाँ पर भी reflected है in coming home also. On the last day, the students organized a farewell program for her. She is recalling her whole career as an headmistress. तो वो रिकॉल कर रहे हैं कि फेयरवेल के दिन में क्या हुआ था. द स्टूडेंट्स गेव हर अ लैम्प एंड एवरीवन क्राइड as normally happened when every teacher retired from our school or college. They also served a good meal to her by cooking the food themselves because Thamma always taught them to be independent, to be self-reliant. तो इसलिए वो लोग मिल्स बनाकर अम्मा को दे रहे थे. And at first, Thamma was happy after her retirement. So at first, she was happy because she felt that it was a long relief after so long service. She has got a kind of leisure time. But gradually, what happens? Thamma complained about the housekeeping, and the narrator's mother feels very annoyed when Thamma intervenes into each and every matter of the household. Good evening, Papri. Welcome. तो ग्रेजुअली जैसे ये होता है, घर में भी होता है, आपने देखा कि द elderly women like our grandparents, they are trying to interfere in the daily life of our home and also the day to day activities of our home, which is actually done by our mother. So automatically there will be a clash between mother and grandmother. So grandmother represents the conservative conventional attitude and mother represents the modern society. तो दोनों के बीच में conflict होता है. तो normally यहाँ पर भी same चीजें create होता है, conflict between Thamma and the character of narrator's mother. Once the narrator and Montu noticed a turbaned man in Thamma's room. A turbaned man who is wearing a turban. A turbaned man in Thamma's room they have noticed. So they could not understand who was this man. बाद में उसका आइडेंटिटी रिवील होता है. But gradually Thamma feels very lonely. This is a very common phenomena in each and every house, that the elderly people, after their retirement, after finishing all the duties of their life, they often feel lonely, and we are so busy that we cannot get any time to talk to them, right? But Hamma here also feels lonely. She does not care about their lives anymore. About their lives means about the life of the narrator and his family. So she gradually becomes very much indifferent towards life, indifferent towards society, towards family, and she becomes a cocooned identity. After his father's promotion, his means the narrator, after his father's promotion, they move to a big house, but Thamma is again indifferent. They move to a big house, but Thamma has no reaction. Actually, the whole world appears to be very dissatisfying for her, and as she feels very much lonely, so she cannot associate herself with uh, any kind of little excitements and little incidents of daily life. So she keeps herself aloof from all these things. So when they move to a big house, normally everyone is excited, but Thamma has no excitement. She is completely indifferent to the atmosphere. The narrator's mother becomes the leader of the household. It is also quite common. The narrator's mother becomes the leader of the household, and Thamma is again marginalized. Thamma spends maximum time in her room by reading books and by doing her own works. तो बाहर की दुनिया के साथ कनेक्शन धीरे धीरे कट ऑफ हो रहा है. Hamma told the narrator that this house was different from her and Maya Devi's ancestral house. Now, the more she gets alienated from the modern society, the more she recalls her past life, her ancestral house. And she very clearly mentions that my ancestral house was completely different from your modern house, because in today's house, though it is developed, apparently it lacks the warmth of relationship, it lacks the amount of love and respect अम्मा had in their family. ठीक है, तो इसलिए वो कह रहा है कि it is very different from her ancestral house. She shared her childhood. She shared her childhood stories in Dhaka. Shared her childhood memories in Dhaka. So Thamma was born and brought up in Dhaka. We have just learned it. She was under the rule of Jathamushai, who was famous for his anger. So Thamma के childhood time में क्या था? Thamma's childhood was dominated by this single man called Jathamushai. Jathamushai was the leader of the family, and everyone was very much afraid of him because he was famous for his anger. He was famous for his anger. Jathamushai and Thamma's father divided the house with a wall in between. तो अब क्या होता है कि ड्यू टू सम प्रॉपर्टी रिलेटेड प्रॉब्लम्स, वो तो जॉइंट फैमिली में रहते थे थम्मा, बट ग्रेजुअली द फैमिली गेट्स सेपरेटेड, एंड एक बहुत ही ज्यादा फ्यूड क्रिएट होता है, क्वारल क्रिएट होता है अमंग between Jathamushai and Thamma's father. So after that quarrel, घर में ही एक partition create होता है, and that partition divides the house into two parts. One part is for Thamma and her family, and another part is for Jathamushai. But Thamma's mother and her aunt were still together silently. They are still together because they cannot separate themselves mentally. Though physically they are away from each other, physically they are separated by a wall in between. They are mentally very close to each other till the end of the day. Thamma was married 4 years before Maya Devi, and after marriage, she spent a few years in her husband's railway colonies. So, childhood memory के साथ साथ Thamma has left Dhaka, and after her marriage, Thamma has come to uh, Kolkata, and she lives with her husband's railway columnist. Jatamoshai aunt and Thamma's parents lived in the home of Dhaka with same bitterness. After the marriage of Thamma, situation did not गेट बेटर रादर क्या होता है जैसे चल रहा था वैसे ही चल रहा है जो बिटरनेस क्रिएट हुआ था अमंग दिस टू फैमिलीज वही बिटरनेस कंटिन्यू हो रहा है द वॉल इज स्टिल देयर एंड वन साइड on the one side of it lived Jathamushai and auntie and the other side lived Thamma's parents. In 1931, Thamma's parents died. After her husband's death, which means after the death of the grandfather, she got this job of the headmistress. Good evening, Gitu. Welcome. Yes, absolutely right, Papri. These words are used to convey Indianness because it is the story, a typical story of an Indian family, and the whole novel is rooted in the background of Indian partition. तो इसीलिए वो इस टाइप के वर्ड्स को यूज कर रहे हैं एब्सोल्युटली राइट. तो थम्मा विजिट्स द पार्क विद द नरेटर. अब प्रेजेंट टाइम में क्या है देखो, अब तक हमने देखा इन द फर्स्ट पार्ट गोइंग अवे we find the character of Thamma, but we find Thamma as a very rigid woman who dislikes anything that is out of convention, out of tradition. That is why Thamma dislikes Trideep's adventurous nature, Ila's flirtatious nature, right? तो अभी सेकेंड पार्ट में हमें पता चलता है कि हाउ Thamma has become so. उसके कैरेक्टर ऐसा क्यों है, उसके पीछे का स्टोरी क्या है, इसके बारे में हमें पता चलता है इन द सेकेंड पार्ट. The second part extensively talks about Hamma's childhood, her marriage with the narrator's grandfather, and how she leaves her parental home in Dhaka and comes to Kolkata. तो ये total जो migration है Hamma का, that is based on the theme of partition. Okay, we will also analyze it later. So Thamma visits the park with the narrator. She chats with her old friends while the narrator plays. So gradually जो होता है कि Thamma tries to find out the link with the past. One evening, Thamma excitingly says that one of Jethamusai's son is in Calcutta. And it is very much exciting for her because after so long a time, she finds a connection between her ancestral house and this era of modernity. Thamma is very much excited to find out a link, and she says to the narrator's father that one of Jethamusai's son is in Calcutta, and she hopes to patch up the debate. कौन सी डिबेट? वही डिबेट जो चल रहा था बिफोर थम्मा's मैरिज, वो आज भी चल रहा है. तो थम्मा सोच रहे थे कि हाउ टू पैच अप द डिबेट, हाउ टू कंक्लूड इट. If I can take any help from that son of Jatamushai, then everything will be fine. Her maidservant Mrinmoy informs that the man is dead already. Another shocking news arrives. Thamma learns that her cousin, that is the son of Jatamushai, is already dead, and it is informed by her maidservant Mrinmoy. Later, what happens? Thamma wants to bring Jatamushai in India as Dhaka is now invaded by Muslim refugees. Now comes the issue of partition. ठीक है, पार्टीशन का हिस्टोरिकल बैकग्राउंड तो आप सभी जानते हो. तो उसी बैकग्राउंड में अब हम जा रहे हैं धीरे धीरे हिस्टोरिकल बैकग्राउंड में. तो जब थम्मा को ये पता चलता है कि जेठामुशाई सन इज ऑलरेडी डेड, देन थम्मा रियलाइजेस दैट ही इज नाउ फीलिंग वेरी मच लोनली in Dhaka. So it is not safe for him to live in Dhaka alone. Rather, Thamma wishes to bring him back to India so that he can get support and assistance from his family members. वहां पर वो अकेला है, तो अकेले रहने की जगह यही अच्छा है कि वो अपने फैमिली मेंबर्स के साथ रहे, बिकॉज ढाका इज नॉट अ सेफ कंट्री नाउ ड्यूरिंग द टाइम ऑफ पार्टीशन. So Thamma wants to do so, but Jethamusai does not care about that. He lives absolutely in fine condition and he does not want to go to India, right? Because it will impact his feeling of motherland, his attachment towards motherland, and it is a kind of rootlessness. तो वो रूटलेस होना नहीं चाहते थे, इसलिए जेठामशाई एट फर्स्ट डिनाइज टू गो विथ थामा टू इंडिया. नाउ अब दूसरे सेगमेंट में हम आते हैं. इन सर्च ऑफ मे त्रिदीप कम्स इनटू अ स्ट्रेंज नेबरहुड. In search of May Price, Tridip comes into a strange neighborhood. He notices a large building which has been bombed. He notices a large building which has been bombed. Okay. तो अब थामा की स्टोरी में हम नहीं है, हम एक दूसरे स्टोरी में आ रहे हैं. तो इसीलिए शैडो लाइंस का प्लॉट बहुत कॉम्प्लिकेटेड है, बिकॉज कभी एक कैरेक्टर के बारे में बताए जा रहे हैं तो दूसरे सेगमेंट में ऑटोमेटिकली द प्लॉट शिफ्ट टू समथिंग एल्स. ठीक है. तो यहाँ पर हमने जहाँ पर कंक्लूड किया द स्टोरी ऑफ थामा एंड जेठामशाई, वी विल ब्रिंग इट लेटर, बट बीच में ये स्टोरी आ गया है. त्रिदीप एंड मे वी हैव लेफ्ट देम इन द फर्स्ट पार्ट गोइंग अवे, तो वो अब फिर से यहाँ पर आ गए. ठीक है. Now Tridip visits a building which has been bombed. Actually, it is a theater house which was bombed during the riots of partition. He notices a man and a woman getting intimate and remembers me. Inside that building, he notices a man and woman getting intimate and he remembers May. He misses May. Tridip elaborates this incident and requests May to meet him in a ruined building for intimacy in his fourth letter. So Tridip sends a very openly obscene letter to May and he requests her that he cannot live without her. So please come and meet me in a ruined building. Okay. May is afraid of the obscenity of the letter and hides the letter. May letter को hide कर रहे. Now May tells her mother that Tridip has invited her to India. She is obviously concealing the obscene purpose, but she informs her mother that Tridip has sent a letter and he wants me to meet him in India. Now, अब त्रिदीप एंड मे के स्टोरी के बाद दूसरे पॉइंट पर हम आते हैं. द नैरेटर्स फादर इन्फॉर्म्स थामा दैट साहिब हैज गॉट अ प्रमोशन. साहिब्स कैरेक्टर वी हैव फाउंड इन द फर्स्ट पार्ट. तो थामा को इन्फॉर्म करे नैरेटर्स मदर दैट साहिब हैज गॉट अ प्रमोशन. बट थामा के अंदर तो एक कंजर्वेटिव नेचर डेफिनेटली है. तो थामा स्कॉप्स एंड सेज दैट ही इज अ ड्रंकर्ड सो ही डज नॉट डिजर्व इट. पर एक स्पेस होगा that he is a drunkard so he does not deserve it. ठीक है. As like Tridip, Hama also dislikes Shahid. Only she loves Robi, the son of Mayadevi. Then narrator's father also mentions that Sahib is now posted to Dhaka, which is the very good news. Hama receives a letter from Mayadevi and she invites her to Dhaka. तो थामा जो सोच रहे थे वो अब सही होने जा रहे हैं. She is just thinking of bringing Jethamashai back. So at that moment she receives a letter from Maya Devi and Maya Devi herself invites her to Dhaka. So Thama insists that this time she will definitely bring Jethamashai at any cost. वहां पर उनको रखना नहीं चाहिए, उनको इंडिया पर लाना ही. The narrator's father gives her plane tickets to Dhaka. ढाका जाने के लिए टिकट का इंतजाम होता है. Then while traveling, Thamma asks if she will be able to see the border between India and East Pakistan from the plane. Now the issue arrives of the title, that is Shadow Line. She is shocked to see that there is nothing to separate the two countries. No lines, no lines, no fences. There is nothing which can separate the two countries. So she questions the relevance of partition. That is why the title is given as Shadow Lines. Line here definitely means the border, and the borders are shadowy. Actually, Amitabh Ghosh tries to mention that the borders are not drawn exactly or geographically, rather it is the border created inside our mind. It is more psychological than physical. Right. And that border, you can easily understand it. We are carrying that kind of difference still now in our mind. So the border is not physically present. There is nothing to separate the two countries, that this is the end of India and this is the beginning of Bangladesh. East Pakistan सब कहते थे. But एक border तो definitely है. Border or the line here means the difference, the mental difference and cultural difference, which is created at the time of which was created at the time of partition and during the refugee problems. तो वही border आज भी है. Thamma feels very much shocked to see that there is nothing. If there is nothing to separate the two countries, then why are we so much engrossed in the matter of partition? Why do we believe partition? Because there is no necessity of it. The two countries are all alike. अगर दोनों के बीच में कोई डिफरेंस ही नहीं है तो हम क्यों पार्टीशन के बारे में इतना सोचें? What is the relevance of partition? Thamma is question. And the title of the second part is very important, both second part and first part, going away and coming home. So for Thamma, it is a coming home, but for the narrator, it is going away from Calcutta. So the two things, going and coming, becomes very ambivalent. Thamma's motherland is Dhaka, so Thamma always believes that Dhaka means not going away, but Dhaka means coming home. Here is my route, and I feel coming towards my route, coming towards my motherland. So it has a different feel. But the narrator who is born and brought up in Kolkata, narrator feels that he is going to Dhaka. He is going away from Kolkata, and Dhaka is a different country in which he is going. Kolkata is his motherland, and Dhaka is a foreign country. But for Thamma, though she lives in Kolkata, Dhaka has a special attraction for her because that was her motherland. तो ये इशू यहाँ पर ही बेसिकली नॉवेल में आते हैं. द इशू ऑफ पार्टीशन, द इशू ऑफ डायस्पोरा. We have already talked about diaspora extensively in a separate class. तो वही डायस्पोरा का थीम ऑफ रूटलेसनेस, थीम ऑफ नॉस्टैल्जिया, थीम ऑफ बिलोंगिंगनेस, ये सारी चीजें शैडो लाइंस में है. एंड बस यही एक जगह है जिसमें आप इसको इलेबोरेट कर सकते. अच्छा, उसके बाद क्या होता है? Then we again come back to the story of May, Price and Tridib. तो त्रिदीप ने तो लेटर भेजा था कि May should come to India. So May wants to visit Delhi, Agra and Calcutta before going to Dhaka. ठीक है. On the other hand, we have left Ila in the first part. Now we are getting the news that Ila and Nick are already married in London. They are married in London. May meets the narrator and recalls Ila's wedding. May flirts with the narrator and asks him to sleep on the floor. The narrator tries to be intimate with her, but May slips away. तो यहाँ पर क्या स्टोरी होता है? The narrator feels very much frustrated to hear that Ila has already been married to Nick. So now narrator and May के बीच में एक relationship create होता है, but May slips away from that, and finally Tridib meets May. Their relationships becomes ripen, but the narrator feels a constant obsession for May, though May should be her auntie, but he feels his auntie, but he feels a constant obsession for May because he cannot meet Ila, or he misses Ila. Next, the narrator and Ila decide to meet at Trafalgar Square and then go to Mrs. Price's house. After some years, obviously, बीच में कुछ years elapse हो चुके हैं. उसके बाद the narrator and Ila decide to meet at Trafalgar Square. Ila cries, then Ila's situation is completely changed. Ila cries as Nick is in love with another woman, and Ila feels very much depressed. ठीक है. अब देखो, ये स्टोरी के बाद हम फिर से वापस जा रहे हैं द स्टोरी ऑफ Thamma के पास. So Mayadevi informs Thamma that she has met Saifuddin, who is thrilled to know that Jathamusai's relatives are coming. So Mayadevi informs her that I have seen another person whose name is Saifuddin, and Saifuddin knows everyone in our family. So he feels very much thrilled to know that after so long time, Jethamusai's family members are coming to meet him. So it's a great news. After coming to Dhaka, Thamma is shocked to see the changes. Because it was during the time of partition, तो सब कुछ change हो चुका है. So Thamma cannot relate Dhaka in her childhood and Dhaka in this particular stage. So finally, she goes to her house. She approaches Jathamushai, and he at first recognizes May. May is also with Thamma. Tridib feels very much disturbed seeing Jathamushai. Thamma tells him that they have come to save him from any trouble because Thaka is now not safe. So you should not leave here alone. You must go along with us. Another character appears, that is Khalil. Khalil manages to convince Jathamushai to come out of the bed. Khalil एक सर्वेंट की तरह है, तो वो जेठामशाई को कन्विंस कर रहे हैं कि ठीक ही तो कह रहे हैं थामा, यू मस्ट गो टू इंडिया, अदरवाइज यू कैनॉट लिव हियर सेफली. So Jathamushai finally agrees. They drive a short distance and Robi sees a group of men with fire. रोड के बीच में ही वो एक रायट्स को देखता है. The narrator reads and hears several lectures on the riots, and finally a tragedy happened. Tridib was killed in the riots. That was the tragedy. May relates that Tridib's death is a sacrifice for her. So finally, Tridib, the narrator's most favorite person, died in that riot, and Amitabh Ghosh is trying to portray that how this kind of riots, partitions, these social issues and religious issues, or not religious, social and political issues affect normal common human lifestyle. So Tridib is completely innocent, but while saving May from the riots, Tridib was killed. And May finally feels very upset, and May thinks that his death is a kind of sacrifice to save her life. That is how the novel Shadowline comes to an end. तो ये है टोटल प्लॉट समरी. आई नो द समरी इज अ बिट कंफ्यूजिंग because बहुत सारे characters है and the novel is written in such a way that it is very difficult to summarize, but I have tried to provide you the main points so that you can analyze it from your own perspective. तो इसमें मेन थीम यही है जो मैंने अभी आपको बताया, द थीम ऑफ डायस्पोरा, द थीम ऑफ नॉस्टैल्जिया, रूथलेसनेस, पार्टीशन, and obviously the ambivalent description of going away and coming home. हाँ, ये थोड़ा सा confusing है एलिना. If you try to read the text, then also it appears to be very confusing because बहुत सारे characters इसमें एंड कई सारे रिलेशनशिप्स की बात हो रही है. नैरेटर एंड इला, इला एंड निक, मे प्राइस एंड त्रिदीप, then Thamma and Jathamushai, then the character of Maya Devi, Robi, so many characters are there. So yes, it is a bit confusing and oftentimes it appears to be very boring if you read the text because बहुत ही elaborate description कुछ जगह में है, जैसे Ila's physical beauty is described in much detail and बीच में त्रिदीप के साथ मे का जो relationship develop हो रहा है उसमें बहुत सारे digressions है. But still it is an important text, that is why I have thought to share the summary with you. तो आपके पास जो भी बुक्स हैं आप एक बार पढ़ लेना, उससे ये समरी अगर कहीं पर मिल जाए. तो दैट इज बेसिकली द प्लॉट, बहुत शॉर्ट में. दिस इज द मेन स्टोरी. अच्छा, पूजा हैव रेड दिस नॉवेल, चलो अच्छी बात है. तो अगर टाइम मिले तो पढ़ लेना, बट आई the reading will also be very confusing. I am also telling you that because of the writing style and so many characters, तो ये confusion create होता है. हाँ, एब्सोल्युटली राइट पूजा, पढ़ने में बहुत ही डिफिकल्टी होते हैं. हमारे मास्टर्स में था शैडो लाइंस. आई हैव रेड द नॉवेल बट यस इट इज वेरी डिफिकल्ट टू समराइज. मतलब कोई एग्जैक्ट देखो स्टोरी नहीं है. Actually, I will say that Shadowlines is a collection of various stories. एक एक कैरेक्टर के साथ जो चीजें होते हैं उसका एक कलेक्शन है Shadowlines. इसमें कोई सिंगल प्लॉट नहीं है जैसे हमने थिंग्स फॉल अपार्ट में देखा या फिर पोर्ट्रेट में देखा. इट हैज अ सिंगल प्लॉट बट हियर सो मेनी स्टोरीज आर अटैच्ड टुगेदर एंड एक साथ एक थीम में लिखा गया है, द थीम ऑफ पार्टीशन. सो दैट इज व्हाई इट अपीयर्स टू बी बिट कंफ्यूज. Okay, so that is the end of today's class. Thank you all for joining. This is the link of my Telegram channel. The link is also given in the description box. So those of you who have not joined yet, please join to get notification of all important classes. And also please don't forget to like, share and subscribe my YouTube channel. So in tomorrow's class, we will talk about T.S. Eliot as a critic. We have already read T.S. Eliot's poets and his plays. Criticism baki tha. So in tomorrow's class, we will read criticism of T.S. Eliot. So don't forget to join me live. Please subscribe the channel and press the bell icon to get notified. Okay, so thank you all. Bye bye everyone. Good night. See you all tomorrow at 8:30 p.m.